laugh like hell. Let's have some fun doing it. That's a big part of it. But let's just don't waste any time or energy. It's all about winning. Please reflect that each and every day.
It's time for another edition of the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Bill Jones inside the Academy Sports and Outdoors studios here at the Star in Frisco and inside Ford Center. There is head coach Mike McCarthy after a win over the New York Giants last week and the Arizona Cardinals in town for Monday Night Football this week. And coach, of course, everyone talking about the injury to Dak Prescott. And I'd like to start there in just the resolve of your team after Dak goes down with the injury with 6 minutes left in the third quarter last week to win that game and where you feel like they are going forward now coming into this game against the Cardinals.
Definitely, that was a tough moment. You never want to see any player be injured, but I think the response on the field, not only by our football team but by the sideline of the New York Giants, says it all as far as what Dak represents both as a man and as a football player. And frankly, I think our team just illustrated his fight and made the key plays down the stretch. Played probably our best team football of the season, and it was needed at that point in the game, and that's exactly what we're trying to emphasize and build off of this week as we go into the Monday night game against Arizona.
You had a chance, I know, at least a couple of times to visit with Dak in the 24 hours after the injury, and we all know what kind of positive spirit that Dak has about him, and going forward in his recovery from this, that can-do attitude will be something I'm sure that he'll lean on going forward.
Oh, definitely. He's already exhibited such a positive outlook, and frankly, I'm looking forward to just getting him back in the building and being around his teammates and being in the quarterback meeting and that type, because he needs it, we need it, and that'll be all part of his his process of getting healed and getting himself right for next year.
Andy Dalton comes in and being a veteran quarterback, he takes over the reins and leads the team to the victory in the end that day. Going forward, Dalton, there was a reason he became available, and you jumped on the opportunity during the offseason. Where do you think things stand now with a veteran quarterback to take over? You have to feel pretty fortunate that you have Dalton.
Well, Andy's ready to go. Obviously, his experience speaks volumes, and it's definitely is what we'll rely on. As you watch the weeks of preparation as they build from the beginning of the season, he was a great asset to Dak, but more importantly, he was preparing himself to always be ready to play. So, he has the preparation and the experience of a big time starter, and I don't think we'll miss a beat as far as how we want to attack the Arizona Cardinals defense.
Going back to Dak here, one of the things in that game, he caught the first touchdown pass of his career, which is now a footnote in that game. And we saw him as happy and gleeful as I think I've seen him on the field after making that catch. Cedric Wilson, who actually threw a touchdown pass, as you know, when he was at Boise State. That was a big moment in that game last week.
Oh, definitely. It was a great play design, and frankly, we executed in practice very similar to that. Actually, I think the defense stressed us even more in the Giants game. So just perfect execution. I can't say enough about Cedric, not only the throw, but just how quickly he got the ball out of his hand, and Dak ran the perfect angle on his route, and it was a cool play. It was a big momentum swing for us.
Yeah, another thing in that game, after falling behind 17-3, I thought that you got control of the game again with a 75-yard drive. You leaned on Zeke a lot, had 9 carries on that drive, ate up 7 minutes of the clock, and seemed to settle the game down.
Yeah, definitely, and you need those kind of drives. The first 4 weeks we were, behind in double digits, triple digits, or triple score, excuse me, a couple of times, and I thought that was a key drive for not only our football team in that particular game, but it's definitely something we'll point to throughout the season, because that's what team football looks like. We get down. Defense has been on the field too much, and they go down, and I think it was 12 runs and 2 keeps on the 14-play drive, and that's what we're referring to. When people talk about balance, it's not the equal number of runs and passes. It's about when you run the ball, how you run it, and because everything comes off of that run game. So I thought that was a key drive for us.
Yeah, it was a great evidence of that. All right, we're just getting started here on the Mike McCarthy Show. Up next, it's David Moore of the Dallas Morning News.
The Mike McCarthy Show, presented by Reliant, is brought to you by AT&T, Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Built for Texas, built for you. The University of North Texas, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. And by Reliant, an NRG company. This segment is brought to you by the Dallas Morning News. Nobody does sports like Sports Day. Your home for complete Dallas Cowboys coverage.
What's up, everyone? Just want everyone to know that I'm doing well. And I can't thank you enough for all your love, your support, your prayers over the last few days. They've been more than overwhelming, from teammates to family to friends. To fans I don't know, to former and current players around the league and players around all sports. I just wanted to say thank you. They're definitely appreciated and received well. So just knowing that I have that much love and support out there makes a huge difference. In great spirits. Headed to see the doctor, headed to see my leg for the first time post-surgery. So just ready to start this road to comeback. I know this little adversity is just going to be another chapter in the book, and I'm excited to move forward and write it. Just once again, can't thank you all enough for your love and your support through it all. But I'm in great spirits. I'm gonna stay that way. I'm looking forward to this football season, seeing the game in a different perspective, and supporting my teammates and those around the league that need it. And just excited for God's purpose and God's plan. I know it's bigger than anything that I see or that could have imagined, but I'm trusting him. My faith is doubled down more than ever, and I'm thankful that he's my savior and he guides me in life. So I know through him, all this will be possible, and all this will be a great comeback and a great story. So once again, thank you for your support. Thank you for your love, and ready to get this journey of the comeback started. So God bless you all. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Bill Jones now joined by David Moore of the Dallas Morning News, SportsDayDFW.com, as we get you ready for the Cowboys and the Cardinals on Monday night. And David, Andy Dalton now is the starting quarterback for the Cowboys. What difference can we expect with Dalton at the helm now?
Yeah, I think it's more of a matter of recalibrating the offense rather than any sweeping or significant changes. Andy is not as mobile as Dak Prescott was. You're not going to see that element in the offense anymore. And I'm not so sure, they were doing so much in the 2-minute offense with Dak Prescott. They were constantly pushing that tempo, going out there fast, wanted to run things fast. I think that will still be part of what the Cowboys do offensively, but I don't know if they'll do it as often as they did it with Dak Prescott. Before Dak went out, there was a period, and it wasn't all just on Dak, but this offense turned the ball over 10 times in 13 quarters. They can't continue to do that with Andy Dalton in at quarterback. I don't know that they have the explosive firepower with him to continually come back in those situations. So I think their offensive approach will be, largely the same, but I think the emphasis will be a little bit different, and I think we'll see that early too.
Dalton is a former 3-time Pro Bowler with the Bengals and led Cincinnati to the playoffs each of his first 5 years in the league. How much does this alter the expectations for this team this year, you think?
Well, I think initially you can say the ceiling isn't as high with Andy Dalton at quarterback as it was with Dak Prescott. But again, when this injury occurred, they were well below that ceiling. And the expectation still should be that this is a team capable of winning the NFC East. And, this is Andy Dalton was brought in so this team could survive the loss of Dak Prescott. I would argue the NFC East is built to accommodate a mediocre champion. So I don't think the initial goal of winning the division should change whatsoever. I think it's clearly going to come down to Dallas and Philadelphia. Those are truly the best teams easily in a bad division. and they're still right in the mix there. We can talk about that more in a couple of weeks when the two teams face for the first time.
All right, David Moore, the Dallas Morning News. We appreciate it as usual. And up next here on the Mike McCarthy Show, how much will the Cowboys lean on the run game going forward?
This segment was brought to you by the Dallas Morning News. Nobody does sports like Sports Day. Your home for complete Dallas Cowboys coverage.
Welcome back to the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Bill Jones inside the Academy Sports and Outdoor Studios here at the Star in Frisco. With the Dak Prescott injury, Ezekiel Elliott scored a couple of touchdowns last week against the New York Giants, ran for 91 yards. How much will the Cowboys lean on the run game going forward? Rob Phillips has more.
Statistically, the Cowboys' passing game has been the NFL's best through 5 games. The Cowboys also have arguably the NFL's best running back. And with Dak Prescott expected to be sidelined the rest of the season, the offense might need to lean on Ezekiel Elliott more than ever. Despite 2 more turnovers by the offense, pushing their season total to 11, they still managed to find better balance between run and pass. The Cowboys drove 75 yards in 14 plays. 10 plays were runs by Elliott and backup running back Tony Pollard. With the Giants playing their safeties deep, offensive coordinator Kellen Moore got Zeke and the run game established. The offense took almost 7 minutes off the clock and gave the Dallas defense a break.
I thought that was a series that needed to happen at that time of the game. I thought Kellen showed great patience there, sticking to the run.
The Cowboys have been so pass heavy this season because they've consistently played from behind. With Andy Dalton now at quarterback, don't expect them to lose their aggressiveness.
Guys are going to give us opportunities. We got to be aggressive. We got to take it. But at the same time, we know what we got in the backfield. We're fortunate to have 21 and 20, and we got to keep attacking guys in different ways, and we can't settle on one particular avenue. We got to be able to attack people in a lot of different ways.
For only the second time in his career, Zeke is on pace for fewer than 300 carries in a season. Again, circumstances have dictated the Cowboys go away from the run at times, but there's no question Andy Dalton can settle in better with a strong running game. For DallasCowboys.com, I'm Rob Phillips.
All right, thanks, Rob. And up next here on the Mike McCarthy Show, Will McClay joins us. It's brought to you by WinStar as he breaks down the Arizona Cardinals and quarterback Kyler Murray.
Today we're going to take a look at Kyler Murray and his weapons on the Arizona Cardinals offense. First, we're going to take a look at Kyler Murray and his new weapon, DeAndre Hopkins. Here we'll see it's a single high safety. You see the safety in the middle, and then outside leverage by the corner. And so what he's going to do is throw a fade ball, see the defense and move the safety, and then he's going to throw a strike. You'll see his eyes here. He moves the single high safety just enough, throws a deep ball, and DeAndre Hopkins goes and gets it. Now we're going to take a look at the Cardinals offense and how they use speed. In the red is Andy Isabella. He's a vertical threat. He's going to push the defense. He's going to run past the safety, and you're going to see Kyler throw a dime on a deep pass here. Go. Now they're going to go in motion. He sees what the defense is doing, and then you see the speed. He runs right past the safety, and then a deep throw and a strike. Now we're going to take a look at what makes Kyler Murray extremely dangerous. The Cardinals are the 6th ranked rushing offense in the NFL, and it's because of the quarterback and him getting out and making big plays. Here's a pass play. Typically you want to keep him hemmed in. You want to not give him places to escape. We'll watch the rush here. They give him an ability to get out in their rush lanes, and then you will be able to see his speed and a big chunk play with using his feet. His coverage, now there's no edge to the defense. Now we see how fast he runs and his ability to make people miss in space. That was a look at Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals weapons that we've got to stop on Monday night.
Thanks, Will. Up next on the Mike McCarthy Show, the coach rejoins us, and he talks about this Arizona offense. Plus, how is that Dallas defense doing in his eyes right now? Welcome back to the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Bill Jones inside the Academy Sports and Outdoors studios as the coach rejoins us now, and we talk about these Arizona Cardinals. Second year for head coach Cliff Kingsbury and for Kyler Murray, the quarterback, a guy you're very familiar with, Tom Clements, who coached for you in Green Bay for some 11 years as the quarterback's coach there with Arizona. How have you seen Kyler in his transition, of course, being an Allen, Texas native from college into the NFL?
Well, I mean, he's a dynamic football player, and I think they're doing a great job building the offense around him. You can see their progression last year of doing things very similar to what Cliff had did throughout his college days, and then you can see where they incorporated the run action, the play action, and the keeps, and to that as their season progressed. So I had a chance to watch him a bunch last year, and then as you watch him come out the gate so far this year, I think they're even more multiple. So did a great job of really stressing your defense. A lot of run options. A lot of run pass options. RPOs, different variations of RPOs. But this will be a big challenge for us.
And, of course, the big move they made in the offseason, acquiring Deandre Hopkins, and he adds a lot to that offense too, doesn't he?
No, absolutely. I think he's an outstanding player. He's as good as of a receiver or perimeter player there is when the ball's in the air. I mean, he makes all the catches, has very strong hands. His ability to locate the football, make catches in tight coverage. He's a good route runner, and it's a dynamic perimeter group altogether.
Huge play last week in the Giants game as DeMarcus Lawrence came off the edge, got the strip sack. Anthony Brown picked it up, scooped and scooted for a touchdown. DeMarcus Lawrence looks like, although that was the first sack of the season, he looks like he is hitting his stride here 5 games into the season.
Oh, no, I agree. He's played injured the last couple of weeks, and, I felt that, he had the week of practice going into the Giants game, and I thought he played extremely well. So those are the big-time plays. That was obviously a huge play in the game, and frankly, we need a lot more of it. Our turnover ratio clearly is a black eye for us as a football team, but it's those type of plays that will turn the tide.
And how about Jalen Smith last week? He was very active a week ago.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Jalen is a game ball winner for us on defense, and he's I let the cat out of the bag. But I thought he played his best game of the year.
All right. Well, we can reveal some of that stuff here on the coach's show, huh?
Well, I like to let the players know first.
We'll keep it a secret. How about that? We'll keep it a secret.
Don't tell anybody.
Okay. All right. When we come back here on the Mike McCarthy Show, I want to take a little trip into the quarterback's room, if the coach will let us. We'll see if he will next. Final couple of minutes here of the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy. All right, Coach, I want to talk about Andy Dalton and his relationship not only with your offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, but another assistant on your staff, Scott Tolzien, going back to college. And, of course, Andy Dalton, the winningest quarterback in TCU history, matched up against Boise State and Kellen Moore a couple of times in bowl games. They split in the Poinsettia Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl. And then Andy Dalton matched up against Wisconsin and Scott Tolzien in the Rose Bowl, which TCU won 21-19. Have you heard any chatter amongst them once Dalton was signed to the team during the offseason? Did they have any fun with that?
Well, I think you can almost rehearse every play of every game between those guys. It's been, I tell you, what a neat dynamic. I know I've really enjoyed it. To think you have, coach and players that have competed against each other multiple times and multiple coaches. So it's the most unique quarterback room that I've been a part of. I mean, I've been very blessed to be part of some great ones. So I enjoy it. I know Dak and Ben have really benefited from Andy's experience coming in, and having Seneca Wallace here also has been awesome. Scott Tolzien is a bright up and coming young coach, and obviously you have Kellen and Doug. So I mean it's a great quarterback room. And
a little older, but Doug Nussmeier, pretty good quarterback in his own right, as is his son Garrett as well at Flower Mound Marcus. All right. Coach, we appreciate it. Good luck against those Arizona Cardinals on Monday night. We'll see you again next week here on your Coach's Show, and we appreciate all of you joining us for the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy.
The Mike McCarthy Show, presented by Reliant, was brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Built for Texas, built for you. Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' film and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.